All right, everybody. I gotta ask, can the new Jedi Order salvage Rey's character and restore faith in the Star Wars franchise? So, storytelling really can overcome even the worst conditions in a film. But does Disney have what it takes to fix the damage that they created? The problem is that Disney has written itself into a must-win scenario. This film, it isn't just about box office success anymore. Not at this point. It's about restoring goodwill. If this film fails, there won't be a second chance. So, at a minimum, the new Jedi Order must address two major issues. First, how do they repair the damage that was caused when The Rise of Skywalker shattered audience trust with Rey's gotcha reveal as a Palpatine? And second, how do they shore up the value of the Jedi as characters after the Acolyte did such an incredible job of portraying them as weak and corrupt, betraying the foundation that George Lucas built? If the new Jedi Order fails to do these things, it will be the final straw for many fans. So let's talk about it. What does Disney need to do to restore trust with the audience and reestablish the value of the Jedi in Star Wars? Well, first, they're gonna need to rebuild the story bridges that once connected Star Wars with its core audience. Hiring George Nolfi, known for his work on The Adjustment Bureau, which honestly is a really good film, one of my favorite films for, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago now, and The Bourne Ultimatum, which is a really exciting movie full of lots of drama and tension and action. And so they hired George Nolfi to write The New Jedi Order. And this, yeah, it's a promising step. His background in science fiction and political storytelling, both as a writer and a director, is a major asset to this film. However, I gotta say, director Charlene Obaid-Chinoy, uh, there might be a little tension there. She's an award-winning documentarian. She's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but she is a little new to these blockbuster level sci-fi films. And so, can she handle a Star Wars scale film without a deep understanding of the story's essence? And I think that's one of the areas where a lot of these writers and directors who take on a Star Wars project because they want to be part of the Star Wars universe. I think that's where they go wrong, is that they don't understand like the core values of the story. They're not like fans of the franchise. It feels like Nolfi was brought in to compensate for her inexperience in these areas. And I actually think that's okay. They just need to make sure of where these two creatives are coming from and where they're going to make sure they are on board together. This really could be a calculated risk that Disney is taking, or a bit of a reckless mismatch with the experience and storytelling styles of these two professionals. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is known for her character-driven stories that explore female identity and societal struggles, which really suggests that she's going to focus heavily on Rey's internal conflict as a Palpatine. And you know what? I think that's actually okay. And it really probably is where they need to focus a little bit of this story. This really could provide an opportunity, finally, to address the lingering Palpatine twist. But she'll need to tread very carefully. If the new Jedi Order leans too much into Rey's personal struggles rather than rebuilding the Jedi, it risks becoming just another murky gray Jedi story like The Acolyte. Also, if Rey has spent the last 15 years rejecting her lineage, doubting herself, and living as a grumpy old hermit on a deserted island, kind of like Luke Skywalker, only to then be drawn back into the Force by these young, force-sensitive kids in trouble. And I have this gut feeling that this is where this film might be going. The film really could fall into the same thematic pitfalls that weakened The Last Jedi. Worse, it could echo John Underwood's character in Skeleton Crew, which failed to engage families and younger viewers, despite being a really strong and really fun story. In addition to the documentaries that Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy has created, she has also directed children's animated series. I guess there's this animated trilogy of films that she did, and that kind of suggests that the new Jedi Order will definitely target a younger audience, much like they did with the prequel trilogy by introducing Anakin as a child. So this raises the possibility that one or more of the children in this film could represent the future of Star Wars. So while that could work, the new Jedi Order really, it's got to balance this approach with a compelling story about the Jedi Order's return, especially given the title of the film. If it meanders too much on Rey's Palpatine moral ambiguity, whatever, rather than embracing the Jedi as beacons of hope and as the good guys in this franchise, it's going to risk losing direction and viewers. The biggest challenge facing the new Jedi Order, it isn't restoring the Jedi, it's making Rey's character arc meaningful. No matter how you feel about Rey, she is now the only link to Luke Skywalker's legacy, yet her journey has been defined more by missed opportunities than genuine struggle. Luke's growth was forged through hardship, losing his mentor, failing to save his friends, barely surviving his trials. While Rey, on the other hand, gained allies effortlessly, mastered the Force almost instantly, and rarely faced a fight that she couldn't win. The rise of Skywalker attempted to introduce conflict through her heritage, but the revelation came way too late to truly challenge her. For the new Jedi Order to succeed, Rey has got to finally face some real adversity. Only then can she earn the mantle of Jedi Master and kind of the trust of the audience. One of the Rise of Skywalker's biggest missteps was the abrupt Rey Palpatine twist. That last minute shock that lacked buildup and undermined the entire story. To course correct, this new film has got to explore those missing 15 years of Rey's life, since we're going to be starting present day here. It can't just kick off there and, not address what she's been doing or where she's been. One option might be to explore her biological identity as a child of a clone, because that's kind of interesting. This could connect her to surviving clones like Kix, the trooper who was placed in cryogenic stasis, or even Omega, who I love, the young female force-sensitive clone from the Bad Batch. With both choices, they would serve as links between the prequels and the sequels. Now, beyond her origins, Rey's real challenge should be rebuilding the Jedi. She needs guidance and a true challenge to define herself on her own terms. She needs a teacher or a colleague like Ahsoka who could provide an alternative Jedi philosophy, or Ezra Bridger who could bring a fresh perspective outside of the Skywalker or Palpatine legacy. Other options could also be Grogu, Cal Kestis, Jason Syndulla, or even Jadnana Wood, all of whom could also deepen her understanding of the Force. Other, more natural options could be Luke or even Anakin, who could join her as Force ghosts, which wouldn't be quite as compelling, but it would still make sense. Her journey could take on an Indiana Jones style quest, seeking the lost Jedi temples or trying to go after that forgotten lore. She could seek out ancient wisdom that would really create the adventure that strengthens her connection to the Force. And it would all feel very earned. And finally, it would give her an arc worth Luke's legacy. Star Wars has always been a battle between light and dark, with the Jedi serving as symbols of selflessness and the Sith as embodiments of corrupt power. Yet recent stories have blurred this contrast. Luke was portrayed as disillusioned. Rey became powerful with very little training, and the Acolyte it is depicted the Jedi as weak and corrupt while making the Sith seem misunderstood. For the new Jedi Order to work, it has got to restore the Jedi's purpose, reaffirming that they serve the light because, hey, they are the good guys. It must also show that the Sith power isn't inherently superior and that choosing good definitely matters. This is especially important given how the Acolyte undermined the Jedi, showing a Sith trainee effortlessly defeating a Jedi Master and a lone Sith wiping out multiple Jedi with ease. If Disney continues pushing this narrative, what's left of Star Wars' moral foundation, it just won't matter. The sequel trilogy broke its story contract with fans by sidelining Luke Skywalker, shifting hope to Rey, and then undercutting her arc with a last minute gotcha twist, making her a Palpatine. This bait and switch was cemented in The Rise of Skywalker's novelization and in the book Shadow of the Sith. They both left the characters diminished. Luke, who was once the hero who defied the Empire and redeemed Anakin Skywalker, was reduced in The Last Jedi to a bitter, jaded hermit who had been tempted to murder his own nephew. After everything he endured, we are really supposed to believe he simply kind of gave up and ran away, and that's the end of it? To restore the Jedi Order, Disney has to repair that damage they inflicted on both Luke and Rey. This means that Rey needs to experience real loss, something that forces her to grow as a character. And Luke, he's got to return in a way that's meaningful and that meaningfully helps restore balance to the Force. If Star Wars has taught us anything, it's that legends, they aren't defined by bloodlines, but by the choices that we make. So, should Disney try to save Rey? Yeah, I kind of think they do, but only if they earn it. She can't just be handed the title of Jedi Master. She needs to struggle, she needs to grow, and she needs to earn her place in this universe. The new Jedi Order has got to explore her growth meaningfully while also restoring the Jedi to their place in the universe. And if this happens, she could become the character that fans expected. However, if they ignore these issues, Star Wars will just repeat its mistakes, losing what's left of the audience that once believed in it. The choice is Disney's, but you know what? Do they have the guts to fix the problem that they created? We'll have to see. I think they want to, but we have to see if they have the chops to do it. And I guess we're going to find out. Now, I really want to hear from you. Who should train Rey in the new Jedi Order? Is the new Jedi Order the last chance for Star Wars for you? Will Luke Skywalker return and be magically undisappeared by the Force in the new Jedi Order? I kind of think that he should be. Honestly, that's one of the things that drove me crazy. I think they need to bring him back and not just as a Force ghost. That's my own personal opinion. So drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like and subscribe for more, and I will work on some more of these deep dives for you. This story is not over, but hey, this video is. So give it a thumbs up and hey, share it. And maybe someone at Disney or Lucasfilm will actually see it. And hey, guys, if you do see this, if there are any ideas here that you think might make this new film better, just take them. I don't care. I don't need any credit. Just make a new film. Just restore Star Wars to the movie that I fell in love with back in 1976 or 1977. That's all I want. I just want a good film. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Let me know your thoughts again, and be sure to check out these other videos and let me know what you think there. That's it for now. See you later. Bye.